On September 23, 2025, the South China Sea trembled, not from a storm, but from the silent ascent of a nuclear-powered giant, the USS Ohio. Armed with the 154 Tomahawk missiles, this stealth predator surfaced near Subic Bay, Philippines, not by chance but with purpose. A message to China, a beacon to allies, a spark in a powder keg. Why now? Why here? In the 1970s, as the Cold War cast its chilling shadow, the Ohio-class submarines were forged as ultimate deterrents. Designed to carry 24 Trident II ballistic missiles, each with multiple nuclear warheads, these 5- and 60-foot behemoths could unleash devastation across continents. Their mission was grim: to ensure mutually assured destruction, a balance of terror that kept the Soviet Union at bay. Each submarine, built at a cost of $2 billion, was a marvel of engineering. 18,150 tons of steel, powered by a nuclear reactor that could run for decades without refueling. Post-Cold War, the USS Ohio and 3 sister ships underwent a transformation. From 2002 to 2006, they were converted into guided missile submarines, trading nuclear warheads for 154 Tomahawk cruise missiles. Each Tomahawk, costing $187 million, can strike targets 1,000 miles away with a 1,000-pound warhead. Accurate to within meters, a single salvo could cripple airfields, radar stations, or command centers, rivaling the firepower of entire air forces. The Ohio also carries 7 vertical launch tubes for special operations, deploying Navy SEALs via mini-submersibles, and can support drones for reconnaissance, a Swiss Army knife of naval warfare. Life aboard is a study in endurance. The crew of 155, officers, enlisted sailors, and specialists, lives in a claustrophobic maze. Bunks are stacked 4 high, meals are served in a galley the size of a small kitchen, and the control room glows red to preserve night vision. The air is recycled, the hum of the reactor ever present. Sailors endure 90-day patrols, cut off from family, sunlight, and the world above. A young sonar technician, barely 22, might stare at screens for hours, listening for the faint ping of an enemy vessel, knowing a single mistake could betray their position. The Ohio's stealth is its shield, its silence, its strength. The Ohio is not a lone wolf. The U.S. Navy operates a global network of assets, from destroyers with Aegis missile defense systems to P-8 Poseidon surveillance aircraft. Before Subic Bay, the Ohio docked in Guam, a U.S. stronghold 1,800 miles from China, and Brisbane, Australia, where the USS Frank Cable, a 650-foot submarine tender, provided maintenance and supplies. This logistical chain ensures the Ohio can operate indefinitely, its crew resupplied, its systems fine-tuned. Nearby, Arleigh Burke-class destroyers armed with 96 missiles each likely patrol, their radars sweeping the horizon. The USS Ronald Reagan Carrier Strike Group, with 70 aircraft, may lurk just over the horizon, a floating fortress of air power. The Ohio's surfacing is a coalition effort, woven into a tapestry of alliances. Japan, with its 54 destroyers and 22 submarines, is a linchpin. Its maritime self-defense force trains with the U.S. in exercises like RIMPAC, practicing anti-submarine warfare and missile defense. Japan's $320 billion defense budget increase by 2027 includes Tomahawk missiles of its own, a signal of its shift toward offensive capabilities. For Japanese citizens, wary of China's militarized islands, the Ohio is a symbol of security, easing fears but stoking debates about their pacifist constitution. Australia, under AUKUS, will field 8 nuclear-powered submarines by the 2040s, built with U.S. and British technology. Its Navy, with 11 destroyers and 6 submarines, already joins U.S. patrols, sharing intelligence and risks. In Canberra, policymakers see the South China Sea as vital to their $1.7 trillion economy, with 60% of trade passing through these waters. The Ohio's stop in Brisbane was a nod to this partnership, a promise of shared strength. India's Navy, with 150 ships, including the carrier INS Vikrant, extends its reach through the Quad. Its patrols in the Malacca Strait, a choke point for Chinese trade, align with U.S. strategy. Indian sailors, proud of their nation's rise, view the Ohio as a partner in balancing China's ambitions. South Korea, with 12 destroyers and 18 submarines, focuses on North Korea but joins broader exercises, its crews driven by a legacy of resilience. Singapore's Changi Naval Base hosts U.S. ships, while Vietnam, scarred by China's 2014 oil rig standoff, shares intelligence discreetly. The Philippines, with its 2016 Hague ruling against China's claims, sees Subic Bay as a shield, its people torn between hope and fear of entanglement. This alliance web is China's strategic nightmare. The Ohio's surfacing signals not just U.S. power but a united front, ports from Yokosuka to Darwin, navies from Seoul to New Delhi. For Beijing, it's a reminder that its maritime dreams face a coalition, not a single foe. The U.S. Navy's South China Sea operations are a high-stakes ballet. Freedom of navigation missions, conducted 6 to 8 times annually, send warships like the USS Dewey through China's claimed waters, asserting international law. Carrier strike groups with 5,000 sailors and 70 aircraft launch F-35 jets in disputed zones, their afterburners a defiant roar. Amphibious ships like the USS Makin Island practice marine landings, simulating island seizures. The Ohio joins exercises like Malabar, coordinating with Japanese and Australian ships to hunt simulated submarines, its sonar operators training to detect threats. These missions are fraught with tension. A young pilot, launching from a carrier, feels the rush of adrenaline as Chinese jets shadow nearby. A Philippine sailor, aboard a frigate alongside the Ohio, grapples with pride and anxiety, knowing their nation's reefs are at stake. In 2023, a Chinese destroyer cut across a U.S. ship's path, missing by 150 yards, a near collision that underscores the risks. Every maneuver is a test of nerve, skill, and restraint. China counters with its own display of might. The CNS Fujian, launched in 2022, is its third carrier, but its first with an electromagnetic catapult. Rivaling U.S. technology. Capable of carrying 40 J-15 fighters and 2,500 crew, it can project power 1,000 miles from shore. Its catapult allows heavier payloads, bombs, fuel, or drones, giving China flexibility once reserved for the U.S. Navy. For Chinese sailors, the Fujian is a symbol of national pride, a testament to their nation's $886 billion defense budget, second only to the U.S.'s $934 billion in 2025. The South China Sea is a global artery. It carries $3.4 trillion in trade annually, 20% of global commerce, linking Asia's factories to world markets. Its fisheries feed 300 million people, and its seabed holds 11 billion barrels of oil and 190 trillion cubic feet of gas. China's 9-dash line claims 90% of this sea, overlapping exclusive economic zones of the Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, and Brunei. The 2016 Hague ruling rejected China's claims, but Beijing's militarized islands, Supi Reef, Mischief Reef, bristle with radar and missiles, asserting control. The U.S., neutral on sovereignty, insists on free navigation. Since 2015, it has conducted over 50 freedom of navigation operations, each a calculated risk. For regional nations, the stakes are existential. Filipino fishermen, once free to fish Scarborough Shoal, now face Chinese patrols, their livelihoods choked. Vietnamese Coast Guard crews, patrolling the Paracel Islands, carry the memory of 1974, when China seized the archipelago, killing 74 sailors. The Ohio's surfacing in Subic Bay is a lifeline, but it also raises fears of escalation, pulling smaller nations into a great power clash. At the heart of this drama are people. The Ohio's crew lives in a world of steel and sacrifice. A cook preparing 500 meals daily in a 20x 10-foot galley keeps morale alive. A navigator, plotting courses through contested waters, knows a single error could expose the sub. A mother, missing her son's first steps, writes letters in the dim light of her bunk. Their isolation is profound, yet their purpose binds them. On shore, families wait. In San Diego, a spouse scans news of the Ohio's surfacing, heart racing with pride and dread. In Beijing, analysts study satellite images, their minds racing to decode U.S. intent. In Manila, crowds gather at Subic Bay, whispering of the American submarine, torn between hope and fear. The Ohio is not just a machine, it's a vessel of human dreams, fears, and resolve. This is modern rivalry. Submarines lurking, carriers roaming, jets soaring, satellites watching. The Ohio is America's trump card, its stealth and firepower a deterrent. The Fujian is China's ambition, a step toward parity. Every move risks miscalculation. In 2024, a Chinese fighter buzzed a U.S. plane 10 feet apart, nearly sparking disaster. In these crowded waters, a collision or misread signal could ignite a crisis. The Ohio's surfacing is a message. America stands firm. For allies, it's a shield. For China, a challenge. For the world, it's a question. Will this deter war or hasten it? The sailors, diplomats, and leaders navigating this storm know the cost of failure. A spark could set the sea ablaze. The USS Ohio has slipped back beneath the waves, but the South China Sea's tensions simmer. This is no distant drama. It's the pulse of our world, where power, sacrifice, and survival collide. Will the next surfacing bring peace or peril? Stay with us to uncover the truth. Subscribe now for exclusive insights, updates, and the stories that shape our future. Because in these waters, every moment counts.